Ihr seid ja super.
We more or less came across a podcast coincidentally from an American historian who spoke about loopholes. She spoke about loopholes in general in this podcast. And she focused on the history of the 18th because people who wanted to die tried to find a loophole in order to escape religious dogmas. And this is why they had to kill somebody else in order to be executed. This is what we found really fascinating. And the historian made us all her documents available to us. And this included recordings, court documents, and records where people were interrogated who normally were not heard in the course of history. Nobody was interested in this group of people. And, you know, this information was only passed on because these persons committed terrible crimes. And what really affected us was that all of a sudden people, or rather women, made their voices heard who were not heard before, and they spoke about their own history, their own stories. And it's a story that always needs to be told, but it was never told because nobody was interested in this group of people. So we didn't only make the movie in order to show what life was like in the 19th or 18th century, but we also wanted to make a movie about today's life, because there are still a lot of dogmas. The number of dogmas is increasing. The world becomes ever more separated. One group of people don't talk to the other. In the social media, you can be dissed immediately if you don't fit in, but if you belong to a slightly different group. And this world is similar. It's an invisible prison, but today we also live in an invisible prison. And the dogmas might have changed, but to us it was very important to show that people are caught up, and I think we are also caught up today in our own prisons. I think many things in this movie have been planned very precisely. And, you know, we've been crazy enough because we perform the script, Veronika and myself, in all the different roles, all the different characters, changing again and again, and Martin is around as well. We could produce a DVD. Martin, where's all this material? But we try to open up the scene and try to translate it into the modern age and take things up. And doing the editing, these coincidences, these real-life aspects have become ever more significant, and we want to give it more importance.
Most of the beauty of the surface of this film is, of course, because we shot on celluloid film, what makes things smoother and much more beautiful for a historic thing. But I think the biggest advantage in the shooting on the film was maybe not only the surface and the pastelic, what you saw, and how fire reacts, for example, on the screen. I think the biggest advantage shooting film is you have a lot of respect pushing a button. What really people start losing, this respect of pushing a red button on a film camera or digital camera. And I think that's most important, what you see at the end of a film shot on celluloid, that everybody has a lot of respect when the camera rolls.
Martin Gschlacht is the person that we are not only grateful to as the DOP, but he also tells a story together with us. And he is also a DOP who does not only focus on the picture, on the frame and the lighting and the colors, but he also focuses on the story. We closely cooperate with him in the run-up to shooting in order to make sure that we transport and convey the message very well. And if we deviate from that, he tells us, no, this is not what we agreed on. Well, talking about the present, of course, people are tremendously under pressure. Depression, the inner prison, are feelings that keep us as busy as it kept us in the past. When we talk about this very specific phenomenon of proxy suicide, This is something that also happens today occasionally. For example, if religious dogmas tell you that suicide is not permitted, and if people suffer from depression, they commit suicide attacks because that's the only way of dying. And that is why they take other people along when they die. And that is basically the other side of the same coin. There are investigations revealing that suicide attacks are very often associated with depression, and this is the only way out for these people in order to die. In the past, we thought that this was rather grotesque, as we saw it in period films, but today this phenomenon still exists.